It all started when 4 people with very different occupational backgrounds came together. Ellen Kleven from the Norwegian Support System for Special Education, Richard Nilsson, who unfortunately couldn't be here, but who is a co-owner of a firm called Scandinavian Electric, and Bjørn Bergesen, who is also here, and myself from the Norwegian Labor and Welfare Services. Our common denominator was our interest and knowledge with AS, and wanting to improve employment opportunities for people with AS. What we knew, and I'm sure a lot of you know, is that a lot of people with AS are unemployed. Furthermore, there's a huge variance when it comes to education. On the one hand, you have people holding university degrees, and then on the other, you have people who hardly have any formal education whatsoever, but can be highly skilled in their fields of interest, but they're self-taught. What we also knew is that there's a definite labor market demand within some of these fields of interest. Just as important, how and what we define as strengths and weaknesses, faults and assets, is largely determined by the context in which such behavior or traits manifest themselves. And what this means is that traits often associated with AS can, given the right context, be highly sought after. We all know that lots of people with AS are very good at pointing out faults and mistakes. They often tend to focus on detail, and they are prone to have a rather logical approach to things. And all these examples of traits and behavior that oftentimes are seen as kind of bothersome and annoying are in fact in the context of software testing and quality assurance and information technology in general. These are actually traits that are very valuable and highly sought after. So with this in mind, we set our goals and started the project. So what are our goals? Well, we want to develop a national labor market scheme for people with Asperger Syndrome. It's going to be based on already existing labor market measures or labor market schemes so that people with AS can integrate and succeed in the working world. No. There? Yeah. The implementation of the project called for more collaborators. We just couldn't do that on our own. So through funding from the Norwegian Labor and Welfare Services, we engaged a firm called A2G, which is a local labor market measure within vocational rehabilitation. And we felt very strongly that they could provide the proper learning environment for our project. And we also knew from experience that they had a teaching staff that is very competent. We also hired the services of a world-renowned lecturer within the field of software testing and quality assurance. And he just happened to live in our vicinity, so we were very lucky. And he really wanted to do this because he was very fascinated by the idea. And this collaboration amongst us has been very, very fruitful. The project consists of 4 phases. The purpose of mapping and assessing is to determine individual strengths and weaknesses and individual needs for work adaptations. And we use a variety of tools here. We use Lego robots, word comprehension tests, the Asperger questionnaire, and a new screening tool called the EVAS interview. which is developed by the Norwegian support system for special education, and which is presented as a poster here at the conference. And our experience with this tool is very good. The learning and competence building phase builds on two very different qualifying courses. The first is a course in software testing and quality assurance. If our project develops into a labor market scheme, you would have courses in various, or education even, in various occupational fields, depending on labor market demands and, of course, the individual's fields of interest. The second course, which is called the Social and Work-Life Skills course, we have developed ourselves. And its aim is to prepare our participants for work life by heightening their knowledge and understanding of what work life entails, and also to provide them with tools and strategies for managing and coping with plain day-to-day living and coping with their surroundings. And it's this course and its methodology that we believe sets us apart from similar employment schemes for people with AS. And I'll return to this a little later. I have to go, I've been too quick. The third phase is a period of apprenticeship and work practice. Participants are given real consultant assignments from external firms, and they're supervised and tutored by a test administrator. And all their work is evaluated just like all our work would be evaluated. And last but not least, you have the phase of employment, which I will return to a little later. So, now, if we return to the learning and competence building phase, it's structured around 12 hours of lectures in the field of software testing and quality assurance. 1 weekly hour of what you could call confidential talks, where the participants and their teachers come together. And this gives both teachers and participants the opportunity to talk about things that aren't really suitable for group sessions. 12 hours a week, participants gather together in a group where they not only are introduced to, but also discuss various topics and factors relevant to work life, day-to-day living, and that of coping with your surroundings. Examples would be communication. What is communication? Work relations, rules and regulations, socializing, stress and stress management, tools for planning and time management, dress code and hygiene. And all the time keeping in mind the importance of contextual change that was talked about earlier today. Very important.